Okay, smarana. Smarana is one of these important concepts in yoga. It means basically to know thyself, to know yourself, to understand who you are. And if you consider in psychology this archetype or concept of persona, that's anything that any role that you accept in a life. If you are a father, then you are a part of society, you can be a manager, and all these roles, you are attached to them, and you consider them to be you. And if you speak about yourself, what would you say, who you are? What would be your answer?
This is the question.
Yeah, well, as you said, mainly the mother role.
Yeah.
First, that would be the first answer definitely. And then, yeah, perhaps something about the education that I had and yeah. So.
But these are just roles that we have for some specific period of time. Sometimes for a longer time, we still will be parents, even though the kids will be out of home. But it's still a role. It's not who we are in the essence. And there is even one kind of a meditation or how it's called, that you keep thinking about who you really are as a way to get rid of these personas, these masks or roles. Okay, am I father? Am I my name? If I don't think about me as Daniel, who am I? Am I a father? Am I a teacher? Or am I this body? If this body is not here, is still something there? Am I this brain or this thinking process? And you keep uncovering these layers until you get to something that will trigger opening of the consciousness. Ramana Maharishi was teaching this kind of meditation or practice, that you keep asking yourself, who am I? Who am I? And then you keep going deeper and deeper under these layers. And for some people it works, because then in a certain time it just open up, because you are overcoming the mind, you are getting behind the thinking rational mind, and that can open that another area of the brain or consciousness to understand better who you really are, that you are not the brain, you are not the body, because if you sleep, you are still here. You can even sometimes travel within the dreams. You can lucid dreaming. But then you get to a different stage of the dreaming, of sleep. It's a deep sleep, and you are still there. Awareness is there, even though you don't feel the body. You don't think. There is no rationality in there. And these are all the concepts that you can think about to get you switch the brain into different functioning. This seems to be complicated, but in Hindu tradition or Eastern tradition, it's Hindu. It's a strange name because we called them India and Indians, but it's not true. And Hinduism doesn't exist in reality. It's a name that we Westerners gave them. But in these Eastern traditions, in the Indian subcontinent, there are different philosophies. There are 6 points of view how the life started, how the universe was created. There are 6 different darshanas. They are called darshanas. It's not just a philosophy, it's point of view. You can see the reality how it was created. And yoga has one similar base, with Samkhya. Samkhya is one of these most pronounced schools that starts with the unifying consciousness. At the top of it, there is what we call absolute or God or unifying consciousness. And when this unifying consciousness, like the universe, wants to see itself, like to see itself in the mirror, to understand that there is something more, to really experience itself, it starts to divide into two principles. It's a male principle and female principle. It's male is more kind of consciousness, but latent consciousness. There is no movement. It's like a thought. And female is energy. It's action, activity. And if you connect these two, you can start creating. But you need both of them. Not like in our modern society that you can skip this phase and you can say that everyone is the same and it doesn't matter if you are male or female, or you can be anything in between. But this is the basic principle of the universe, how it works. And from that, kind of a principle of higher mind, higher intellect that allow you to distinct what is good, what is bad, what is spiritual, what is matter, what is male, what is female. It's called Buddhi, and from this you have this principle of Buddha as enlightened one. Buddhi is there the higher intellect or insight into universal truths, into higher truths. From this principle, the ego is created, but ego not in the Western sense, like if we hear the word ego, we think it's something bad, but we need to have ego because ego is a principle that allows us to be self-aware, to know that we exist, that I am here, I can think about myself. Without ego, it's impossible. We call it ahamkara in this tradition, which means also self-awareness, but also anything that is materialized, anything which is obvious and visible, because it's aham means from A to Z, like the whole alphabet, and everything that is here. And in this respect, ego is necessary for us, and that's what different on humans. If you compare us with animals or a tree, that we are self-aware. There is awareness or consciousness in everything, even in a tree. But this higher aspect of recognizing myself, that I can think about myself, this is only in humans. And then you can see sattva, rajas and tamas as mental or psychological principles. We were talking about it in this ayurvedic diagnosis. Sattva means light, lightness, or cleaningless. That there is just a purity. Rajas is activity, action, and tamas is stability, but it can become stagnation as well. It's like the matter. And from these, the universe created the senses. As humans, we have some senses that we can perceive the world, we can understand, we can touch it, we can feel it. And there is these bhutis or bhutas, mahabhutas, and these are basic elements. And from these elements, anything in this world that is materialized is created. There are 6 of these different point of views how the universe was created in the Indian tradition, but at the end they are all connected in that unified consciousness. Sometimes they are called, also there is Advaita Vedanta, which is non-dual. So everything is returning back to that unifying consciousness. And this has the same basics for yoga and for yogic philosophy.